welcome to episode 7. I hope you enjoyed that action-packed last episode, and we got an equally, hopefully, fun episode for you to watch today. We're going to get straight into the show then. Kicking off, Chris Cage. If you remember last week, he had that finally got his hands on Nick Flag, but then Nick Flag used a weapon on his opponent, and as you saw, picked up the win with illegal means. And Chris Cage is clearly not happy about it. He comes out, demands Petey Crockett gives him another title shot. And you know what? Petey Crockett is in a giving mood tonight, and he gives it to him. And much to the dismay of Nick Flag, in 2 weeks' time, it's going to be Chris Cage versus Nick Flag in a cage match. What a big announcement there from the owner, Petey Crockett. And it gets a segment rating of 26, so that kicks off the show in some style. And Nick Flag is not happy about this one bit. We'll book that later. Next up, Rio. We haven't seen her in a while after her big debut in, I think, episode 3. She comes down to the ring and joins myself and Luke T. McFunk on commentary for this next match, which features the women's champion, Lacey James. This rating just got a 6, so that's not too good. Next up, in a decent match, Lacey James defeats Connie Steele in 8 minutes and 1 second with a Swanton Bomb, then picking up the 1-2-3. Lacey James makes defense number 1 of her AWA Women's Championship after beating Peggy Lee earlier in the series. She gets a 22 rating. Connie Steele got a 23. This match is pretty decent, 20 overall, and it got the crowd hotter. Next up, we go into another match. Phantasmo picks up a win over Mike Cash, the YouTube champion, somewhat of a surprise maybe for some. Mike Cash gets himself disqualified on purpose after Phantasmo tries to make a mockery of Mike Cash, dancing around, tapping his backside, just having a bit of fun, the Brazilian, the Rainbow Warrior as we know he is. Just having a bit of fun. Mike Cash had enough and then low blows him, leaves him in agony on the floor, walks off. Phantasmo gets a rating of 23, Mike Cash got a 21, and this kicks off, continues storyline C. I should have ended that one and started the next one, but nonetheless, we'll carry on. Unfortunately, Phantasmo has sustained a dislocated ankle, which does not sound too good to say the least. He could be out for a while, and that puts a dampener on my next plans for these two in a feud. So we're going to have to veer off into a completely different direction going forward if he is indeed out for a long time. The match did its job though and gave the crowd a breather after that women's match, which was decent. This got a rating of 17. It was a comedy match, and it ends with a guy getting kicked to the balls, which isn't funny at all. After that, just to confirm, the Barnsley Brawler telling us that he sustained an injury. We'll have to look at that later on. We go back from the break and we come back to see Mike Cash is on the phone in the back. We hear him say the phrase, "You'll get your money when the job is done." He hangs the phone up and gets a smile creeping on his face. He knows something bad is probably going to happen sooner or later, and after a few moments he smiles and then he puts the phone down, as I said, and that gets a rating of 20. Looks like Mike Cash, the scheming preacher, is up to something again, and we'll probably find out in the coming weeks what this happened to be. Next up, in a decent match to end the show, we have the Foxcatcher. If you remember last week, the Foxcatcher was told if he could beat Slapshot this week, he would get his title shot against Lewis Blaine at the next big event. And he picks up the win with 9 minutes and 3 seconds with submission hold, making Slapshot tap out in the centre of the ring with a rating of 22 to end the show. 24 for the Foxcatcher, 19 for Slapshot. Overall, I think a decent show. There was a few bad moments, but overall, I think this is a solid show once again. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. It has given us an increase in ratings in 14 regions with a rating overall of 22. And we shall see you next time for AWA.